Hello Internet, Chris Krug here, checking in from the Banff World Television Festival. I'm here with Malcolm Wall, who's the CEO of content for Virgin Media. How's it going today, Malcolm?
Good, good. Beautiful place.
Enjoying your Banff experience?
Yeah, I have. I've really enjoyed it. I came in on Saturday night, sort of pretty wiped out, and then Sunday saw a bit of the area. Made my keynote speech on Sunday night and met up with a lot of people afterwards. Yesterday I was on a digital heavy hitters panel, which was really interesting. It's really interesting. I mean, it's good to come somewhere and learn something yourself as well. And then last night I sort of went into the A&E party and I was going to meet some colleagues, and they turned up much later. So I sat down with a crowd of Canadian independent producers, and we just had a real ball, talking television. And then this morning, got up and decided to try and see a bit of this beautiful place, and went out mountain biking in the horrible weather and got covered in mud.
Muddy ride?
Covered in mud.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds excellent.
So I really enjoy myself here. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you about some of the things you guys are doing online. I've heard that you recently launched your iPlayer application, which gives people access to digital cable content. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the BBC launched the iPlayer right at the end of last year on PC and laptop basis. Very good interface, giving UK people the access to all of the BBC output in the preceding week. What we did a month ago was we launched it on a television platform.
Okay.
So we've incorporated some of their functionality through our television platform. So you're seeing the programs as they were originally meant to be seen on the television screen, and it's really proven to be very popular.
How do you guys see a product like that competing with other more web native products like Hulu and Juiced and stuff like that?
I think ultimately there are probably too many interfaces. I really don't believe that all of these interfaces are going to survive. I don't think the consumer wants their laptop or even their television screen covered in icons.
Right.
They want a trusted aggregator. And I hope Virgin Media can be that trusted aggregator both on television screen as well as on broadband and indeed on mobile.
I know that one of your concerns is getting people to pay for content online, and that's something that the kind of open and free nature of the web has got them not inclined to do. How do you see yourselves going about changing that or working in that environment?
Well, you have to add value. You can't just force people to pay, but you have to add value. My concern is it would be great if everything was free, but I don't think you have a sustainable business model if everything's free.
Right.
I don't think you get the necessary reinvestment into production if it's free. And what I put up in my charts on Sunday night was the level of reduction of money being spent on new production in the UK, and talking to people at this conference, they're seeing that the world over. Talking last night to an Australian, talking to some Canadians, they're seeing less money being invested in original production. And some of the wonderful stuff that's coming on online, and I do love that. I love some of the short films. Indeed, we're a sponsor of a big short film competition in the UK at the moment, and the standard of the products is wonderful. But it is not a 1 hour crafted piece of documentary or indeed drama. And my fear is that as this displaced viewing goes into all these new ways of watching television, we're not going to see the same levels of investment. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to get the consumer to pay more or to get the advertisers to fund more.
Right.
And there's some inefficiency around the advertising space as well. So that's what I was calling for, is for us collectively as an industry to try and address those issues.
Is piracy something that's a big fight for you guys, and what are you doing to kind of address those things?
Piracy's a huge fight for everybody, and if you look at what's happened in the music industry worldwide, the music industry was worth $45 billion in 2005 in terms of sales to consumer. It's forecast in 2010 to be worth $20 billion, and the main issue there is piracy. 50% of all UK broadband traffic is peer-to-peer. There's very few legal peer-to-peer services. So there's a tremendous amount of piracy. And I think you have to do one of two things. One, we as content owners have to find ways of protecting that copyright. And there's a number of things you can do working with good interfaces and access partners. We have to be more clever about how we release information. But there's also governments have to intervene. Right. And I'm not a guy who generally calls for governments to stamp out on issues. But when you've got that level of piracy, you've got diminishing returns to an industry. And is stealing music and stealing video any real different from shoplifting? Well, it is by most people's legal regimes, and in my mind, it shouldn't be.
Very good. Well, thanks a lot for spending time with us here today, and have a safe trip on back to the UK.
Thanks. Hope the weather improves.